How's it going, folks? How are we doing tonight? I am super excited. I am Dr. Emily, and I am so excited to talk to you tonight about the AI Developer Blueprint. So, just quick questions. Who's ready to start earning six figures in tech? Drop it in the chat. Give me a thumbs up. You can say I am, but who is ready to become a master coder, no matter what the tech stack? Can you guys let me know? Drop it in the chat. Give me, oh, good. Linda's with me. Awesome. Good to see you, Linda Braulio. Nice. All right, folks, this is going to be a really lame night if no one's ready to do what we're here for. Okay. Awesome. Omar is ready. Roy is ready. So good. And who's ready to have the system working for them instead of against them? Is anyone ready to have the system working for them? Yeah, Ray is. I love it. So awesome. That's what we're here for tonight, folks. All right. So, hi, I'm Dr. Emily, and tonight I am going to show you how, right? How to make this dream a reality, even in the current job market. All right. Even in the current job market. So, what we're going to talk about tonight is how smart coders are using AI to build six-figure tech careers and how you can do that too. All right. So I don't care how long you've been stuck. I don't care if you've tried boot camps, self-paced courses, YouTube tutorials, and if you still feel like you're on the outside of tech, just like looking in. If you're committed to landing a six-figure role in tech, I want to help you get there. And that's exactly what we're going to do together tonight, right? So for the next hour, I want you to do something different, okay? Now I know this is a big ask. Close your other tabs. Oh my gosh, I know I'm someone that has hundreds of tabs open at any one time, right? Close your other tabs. Grab a notebook, grab your water. If you're on your phone, you can go grab these things and come back. It's totally cool, right? But give yourself permission to focus on you, right? You for a change. You are the focus of tonight because tonight I'm going to walk you through exactly what's working right now to land high paying jobs in tech, right? And high paying roles using AI, even in this so-called tough market. So let's be real, okay? Even in a tough market, there are jobs. It's not tough, right? I remember when I got one of my first jobs, no one was getting hired. I still found a job. The jobs are still there, right? We just make it hard when we don't have the right path. So just to put this into perspective, in the last few months alone, two of our students landed back-to-back six-figure roles, like back-to-back weeks, right? And last fall, our job offer average was 130K. And last year, all across the board, our average salaries for student offers were 75K to 170K. I can't tell you which ones because the students have asked me to keep their compensation anonymous. But like, this is real, guys. This is now. And all of these students I'm gonna share all these stories with you tonight. This is totally doable. So my only ask for you tonight is to stay present, to be here, because what I'm about to show you could completely change your future, right? If you're ready to take action. Now, before I dive into this, is it cool if I share a little bit about my story? All right. And no, Linda, AI is not cheating because I'm going to tell you how to use it smart. All right. The right way. The right way. There is a place for AI. It is not everywhere, but I'm going to show you where. All right. I'm going to show you how. All right. So good, folks. All right. Excellent. So some of you may have, if you know me at all, you may have heard this story before, but I share it, right, as a warning, as a warning, but it doesn't have to be your path. Big number time, $244,000 in 10 years. That's what it cost me to learn how to become a confident coder. It's not a flex, it's a warning. I spent over a decade and nearly $250,000 on degrees and certifications and research trying to crack this code on how people actually learn how to build software and walk into a project and be awesome from day one without having to feel or look like an idiot and ask a bunch of questions. And I'm telling you right now, A boot camp or a degree is not what's going to get you there, right? I didn't fully get it until years later when something really unexpected happened for me, right? So I was a professor. I graduated, I got my 3 computer science degrees, and I was working as a professor, and a group of my students all landed 6-figure offers, like all at the same time, the same semester. And they came back and they told me exactly what I had taught them that worked, right? This moment changed everything because it was an aha that showed me it doesn't have to be that hard, right? And that's the shortcut that I'm going to share with you today. Only now we get to kick it up a notch because we're in the age of AI. It's awesome. So, just for context, yes, I got my PhD. It took me 7 years. And no, it didn't have to take me that long, but it did. Okay. But along the way, I did a lot of really cool stuff. All right. So, I went on a mission to teach anyone how to code from scratch and create amazing software. But I also, had over 50 internationally peer-reviewed publications, was invited to speak at Microsoft Research. I was cited by thousands of times in software engineering and education. I earned best paper awards. I was even the most influential paper award, which is awarded at like 10 years after publishing, right? All of these things took place as part of the hard way of learning to code, right? You don't have to follow this path. You don't need to spend 10 years learning how to code or 10 more learning how to teach it. I know I look young. Don't be fooled. All right? You don't need to spend 10 years learning how to become a confident coder. You just need the right approach, one that mirrors how actual real developers think, practice, and get paid. And so today, I'm going to show you what that looks like. Sweet, right? So who's ready to learn how to get a new tech role in 2025 and 2026? Can you guys say I am? And let's get to it. Drop me in the chat. Give me thumbs up. Let me know you're with me. All right, Ray is. I love it. Braulio is. Excellent. iPad 2 is as well. Sorry, guys. I can't see your names if it's iPad 2. So good, George. So good. Excellent. All right. So here's why AI is not the threat that you think it is. Okay. So, what do the highest paid coders know that most people don't? Okay. Because most people are afraid that AI is going to take their jobs with good reason, right? There's many areas of digital life right now where AI is taking away jobs, right? Like, so it's not without, merit, this idea. But the smartest developers, they're doubling their value with AI. AI doesn't replace great developers, it amplifies them. So when you learn how to think like a coder, AI becomes your fastest teammate, not your replacement. So just picture this for a second, right? So some other people, they're Googling syntax, right? While they're Googling syntax, trying to figure this out, or even having AI write it for them, but not understanding it, right? You're deploying complete projects in half the time and becoming the go-to problem solver on any tech team. Because there might be layoffs, but you're not going to be worried about it or concerned about finding another position because you'll actually know what you're doing. Okay. And this doesn't change just because AI is in the world. The most important skills to becoming a highly paid, highly sought after software developer, they haven't changed before and after AI because the key skill was always at a deeper level of thinking than just mere like syntax and semicolons and curly braces. All right. So I'm going to walk you through that tonight so you guys can see it. Okay. Awesome. So let me give you an example of so you can, kind of connect with this idea a little bit more. So I might be dating myself, but does anyone remember driving before GPS? Who remembers driving before GPS? Just out of curiosity. Anyone? Anyone but me? Probably. Oh, okay, awesome. Some people do, right? If you weren't alive then, if you weren't driving then, let me say, just think about it for a second. What if you had to drive somewhere and that you didn't know, that you'd never been before, and you didn't have your phone next to you, your iPhone or your Android, you didn't have that GPS, right? Paige does, Roy does. It's awesome, guys. So we had to actually physically print out directions. Does anyone remember doing this? I remember doing this so many times. Because I was just in college when I was doing this. I would have to memorize exits and I would stress over every wrong turn. But when the GPS came along, did driving disappear? No, driving didn't disappear, right? Yeah, we'd use a road map. But when GPS came out, driving got easier. A good driver with GPS, they got places faster. They explored more. They didn't panic when they missed a turn. They just rerouted and kept going, even when they took the wrong exit off the highway. I'm not speaking from experience, but someone who's never learned to drive, a GPS isn't going to help them, right? AI is the same. If you know how to think like a coder, AI becomes your GPS. It helps you build faster, make smarter decisions, and focus on the destination, not getting lost and confused in every line of syntax. So the coders that are winning right now aren't the ones who memorize the directions. They don't memorize the semicolons and the curly braces. They're the ones who can actually drive with AI riding shotgun. Is this clicking with you guys? Is this making sense? That AI is it's your co-pilot, right? AI is your co-pilot. With me? But you still have to know how to do it, right? You have to know how to drive. If you don't know how to drive, you're not going to get anywhere. We're cool? All right. Drop me some comments, give me some emotions, give me some thumbs. Let's see it. I want to make sure you guys are tracking with me. All right, Cliff's tracking. That's so good. That's so good. All right, sweet. So good. So let's be honest for a second, right? Let's be honest. Because at the end of the day, AI, especially from a beginner's perspective, AI can look like it knows absolutely everything. It can give you code. It can explain frameworks. It can even sketch out an entire project, right? AI can really help you get up to speed on all the latest tech. But here's what people aren't saying out loud, okay? What can't AI do? It can't get it working. That last 20%, that part when things break, when real users test it, or the database runs into something unexpected, like a semicolon where it doesn't belong. That's the part where most beginners freeze and where the true coders rise. Because getting it working means that you know how to debug messy issues, that you know that an error message is victory if it's a new, different one than you were working on a few minutes before. It means that you know how to think through edge cases, right? It means you know how to adapt when the AI solution doesn't exactly run right out of the box. And that's not about memorizing syntax. That's about learning how to think like a coder, to diagnose, to troubleshoot, to solve. That's the skill that no AI can replace. And the moment you lock that in, you become irreplaceable and you open the door to the career that you've been chasing. Because at the end of the day, no founder who with no coding experience wants to sit here banging their head against the wall trying to figure out what makes these systems go. But a true coder who knows how to think like a developer, right? This is their bread and butter. This is what they're made for. Okay. So you still, the coder is absolutely still required in the equation. Yes, exactly. So what Linda's saying, so we should know what the AI is doing, even if it co-pilots and occasionally drives the car. Exactly, right? We have self-driving cars on the highways, but not on the little roads that connect us, the highways to where we're actually trying to go. Great metaphor, Linda, right? When we actually want to get where we're trying to go. That's that last 20% that it's really hard for AI to get right because somebody has to tell it what to do and know that it did it and connect it when it doesn't quite get it right, when it gets 80% of the way there, right? I don't know if you guys have ever used AI to help you write something or to help you, create something, but you're prompting it. And when it comes back and it's not just right, you're telling it to change it. So it's still your work, but it's you plus AI, your sidekick, right? Your coding sidekick. So good, folks. But this is exactly how you become absolutely irreplaceable and you open the door to whatever tech career you want. And this is how you gain that confidence that even if, let's say, you were laid off, you know you're going to find another job right around the corner because you actually know what you're doing, right? I know some of the best coders I know, professionals that have been in the industry for 30 years through ups and downs, and there's been like three different highs and lows with layoffs in tech. They've navigated each and every one because they just hop from position to position by invitation. They're not applying on the open market. They've got a friend who's inviting them to apply, and it seems like a fun project to work on, right? Like that's where you want to be. And when you actually know what you're doing, when you're irreplaceable, these are the pathways that become open for you. Okay? Awesome. So let me help put this into perspective. So have you guys heard about vibe coding? Have you guys heard about that? Where you're just kind of like talking with AI and you're giving the vibe of the code that you want to create, right? So AI can show you the code. It can talk about the tools. It can even simulate a solution. But here's what it can't do, right? It can't get it working. I don't know if you guys have ever tried this whole vibe coder thing, right? And have you ever tried to debug something that AI produced, right? So with vibe coding, you know the type, the tabs are open everywhere, right? You might have some random Stack Overflow snippets, and you're hoping that little red squiggly just disappears, right? There's no plan, there's no real strategy. You're just vibing, typing into AI, guessing, right? Here's the kicker. AI doesn't fix that. It amplifies it. If you don't know how to troubleshoot or think through a problem, AI just gives you more noise, not solutions. But when you think like a coder, when you know how to trace bugs, ask smart questions, and isolate the root issue, that's when AI becomes really powerful. That's when you become undeniably hireable. And that's the edge we teach inside the TechJoy Career Academy. So this is a fun little meme about vibe coding, where two engineers can now create the tech debt of at least 50 engineers. So to put that into perspective, this is where you get discernment as you become more advanced, right? Beginners on the outside looking in are afraid that AI is taking all the jobs. The experienced developers I speak with have none of these fears because they know the garbage code that gets output by AI run by someone who doesn't know what they're doing, right? Because tech debt is this idea that if you've ever been in a house, right, with plumbing, and imagine there's a leak, and oh my gosh, it's leaking. Oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Let me use the duct tape. Okay, so I'm going to duct tape the pipe. Is that going to last very long? That duct tape patch on my pipe? No, probably not. I'm gonna have to fix that. I need real like soldering, right? Real soldering. So that duct tape on my pipe to stop a leak, that's like tech debt. It's something I know I'm gonna have to fix. It's okay for now, right? I'm putting my finger on it just to keep it from bleeding or killing me or dripping everywhere, but it's not a long-term solution. And so that's what we mean by tech debt, is that we're creating solutions, but they're hacks. They're going to work right now. But if I want to change it and fix it later, I'm going to be screwed. It's going to take me 5 times as long, right? This is a really common occurrence in software development. In fact, in one of our very first projects, when we were still learning, a younger academy experience, many years ago, and we actually created a project that we could see as it was maintained was going to spiral out of control. This project was currently not bringing in any revenue. And we could see that in the future, it would take like $300,000 a year to maintain this software. There was no revenue. We knew that this architecture that we had created and built was going to be unsustainable for the business, right? This is where we're shifting your mindset and your understanding from beginning coder to strategic developer capable of earning 6 figures, because 6-figure software developers care about how the system is designed and how expensive it will be in the future to maintain it, right? Hackers, people just getting started that don't know any better, they're maybe only using AI to code. Like they don't understand these bigger picture things that are absolutely essential, right? And so this is what becomes important, is that AI can write the code for you, but it can't make these like big picture strategic decisions. Should we design it this way or that way? And just to close the loop on that story about one of our early software projects, we rewrote that project. We re-architected that system at our own cost, at our own expense, to get it right and deliver for the customer, right? And we had a huge learning moment, and we've never had to make that mistake ever again. But you know what? If I just used AI and I wasn't paying attention, AI might give me that architecture right back because it's on, right? Like someone else might have used it on the internet. Oh, this looks good. Let me grab this, right? So, no, you actually have to know how you're coding, what you're doing to become an amazing developer, even in the age of AI. Yeah, legacy corrections that may become bugs. Exactly. So, let's meet your new coding assistant, AI. All right. What if learning to code could feel less like a grind and more like a collaboration? So this is where, Linda had asked this before. This is where, how do we use AI, right? It's not, okay, AI, just give me the code. That's not going to be awesome. We use AI to ask better questions, not just get answers. And this is how you can use AI even as you're learning. You want to be really careful not to ask AI for the answer if you're learning. If you are a production level developer and you just want to solve this problem, then yes, you can go to AI and see what it has to say for itself. But then you got to test everything it gives you to see if it actually holds true for your system. Because trust me, AI will lie to you and it will swear up and down. I think there was just a guy the other day who asked AI to write him an original Facebook post. He was so proud of himself. And it was an original. AI told him it was original. He put it out there. And someone was like, this seems really familiar. And then lo and behold, 2 years earlier, it had been posted on LinkedIn, word for word. And he went back to the AI. Hey, is this original? Yes, it is, says the AI. Right? Here's the issue. AI just lies with impunity. You cannot actually tell. So you have to know enough to be able to do the work, to vet it, to run it yourself. Okay? So we use AI to ask better questions, not just get the answers. And yes, Linda, we need to know enough to describe the problem. This is not cheating. It's co-building and it accelerates your mastery. You still need to understand how to do it. But once you understand how to do it once, you don't have to keep doing it over and over again. Now you can collaborate with AI, but you have to know enough to be able to tell it what to do and to interpret and execute the answer it gives you. This is not for non-coders, right? This is not for the faint of heart. This is for people that are committed to getting it working no matter what, not letting anything stop them, right? These are the technologists of tomorrow that we're talking about here today. The right prompt can help you debug faster, scaffold entire projects, and learn by doing, not guessing. You don't have to be perfect. But what AI is forcing us into is actually the same best practice of software development I have been sharing with students for over a decade, actually more like 15 years now, right? You need to be iterative. This has been the best practice for the past 30 years. AI has just made it absolutely imperative. You won't survive without it, right? You have to be able to make a small change, see if it works. Make a small change, see if it works. That small change could come from AI. It doesn't matter who came up with it, but you need to make sure you can see if it works and know if it worked, right? All these really important things that only the human can do. So when you pair the Think Like a Coder framework with AI support, right? You collapse your learning curve by years and leapfrog into interview ready confidence, right? Even if you're just getting started. And yes, so Glenn asked a good question. He was asking if iterative is the same as agile. And they're related and they're often used, right? There's really two pieces to this. There's iterative software development where we keep doing something repeatedly, and there's incremental. So incremental is I'm building one small piece at a time. And then iterative is I keep going through the cycle of development again and again. And so agile is an iterative cycle where we try to say, okay, let's get one step built end to end. Okay, what's next? Okay, let's build that. And we do the whole cycle and the whole cycle and the whole cycle. Super awesome. Great questions, folks. So what are these 3 skill shifts that will make or break your tech career? Okay, so here is what companies are looking for right now because the hiring bar has moved. And so the question becomes, are you evolving with it? So number 1, companies are looking for systems thinking, not just coding syntax. I know there's dozens and dozens of boot camps out there where they just crammed coding syntax into people's heads. Lord knows why, right? Because it's always been about systems thinking, but fine, right? Now in the age of AI, it's even more imperative, right? You can't even pretend anymore that syntax is the thing because nobody needs it. AI just knows it. So That's not a separator anymore. It's not going to differentiate you from the herd of other people applying for jobs. Rapid deployment skills with AI, right? And notice I didn't say rapid coding skills. I said rapid deployment. Rapid deployment. So, one of the most challenging areas to teach is deployment, not the coding. And to be honest, AI helps with that anyways now, right? Deployment. That means you have code that has come from somewhere, AI, a tutorial on the internet, your own mind, wherever it came from, and you're getting it on the internet live for actual users. You can send a link to your family members and they can test it out. That process, when I used to teach it at university, took a whole month typically for someone to do. It's the push of a button once it's set up and done right. But the very first time you're ever doing it, there's so many nooks and crannies, so many error messages, right? So many things that might not talk to each other. It's the glue, right? It's the bridge. It's one thing to run code on your own computer. Like if you've done that, awesome sauce for you, right? Like that's a great first step. It is not the same as deployment. Like actually deploying it on a live web server that someone else can click on and use. Like you run into all these like mismatches and like, oh, this library and that library is the wrong version. It's always a hot mess every single time. And I think right now I've launched like dozens of software projects at this point. It is always a little bit of a hot mess. We can kind of codify the process for a particular tech stack, right, with a particular deployment setup so that it goes more quickly. It always takes a little bit longer because things never work exactly the way you think they will, right? It's like, ah, it's just like being on a road trip. Is it going to go smooth sailing the whole time? Some of it, but there's going to be traffic you didn't anticipate, maybe a pothole, a road closure. Something's going to go wrong, right? So there's always something. So rapid deployment skills with AI as your co-pilot. This is what I'm talking about, right? So it's not enough to have created a portfolio. Like it needs to be deployed, right? It needs to be live deployed. And finally, real world problem solving under pressure, real clients, real deadlines. Life changes when you have a client demo and the work's not done. Now, in most of our projects that are mature and established after the MVP stage, we're not pulling all-nighters anymore. But I cannot tell you the number of all-nighters we've inadvertently pulled through, like, man, working every day up to the demo, right? And it was just like, shoot, we didn't quite get it right. So now we're hunkering in, we're digging in, and we're doing it. When you're in that real scenario where there's like real stakes, like, oh my gosh, like somebody might like lose their job, or we might lose this like client or software project if we don't get this done, or Dr. Emily's gonna be super mad, whatever it is, right? Whatever it is, that's like the stake. It's different. You make different choices, different decisions, and you're forced to grow in ways that you would never have otherwise. Why, for instance, why do we have regression testing, right? Okay, for those of you that are beginners, regression testing is the idea that you're testing your software with tests from a previous version of the code. So you're making sure that you're not breaking anything that used to work, right? And so we use that so that when you're doing that all nighter last minute for the client demo, when you're pushing the new feature out, oh my goodness, it's due, it's 5 a.m. Do we make it on time? Right? That you didn't break a bunch of other things when you're coding half asleep, right? Or if you're a total beginner and you accidentally like deleted a critical file, that's what regression tests are for. But until you're in that real moment, you're like, why should I waste my time? I don't need to run regression tests. And you're right. If you don't have real demos or like real deadlines, real clients, you actually don't need them because you can just fix it casually. But when you're in that high stakes environment, like, oh my gosh, we have to get this done, you learn why these things are not nice to haves, but absolutely essential, right? Like, because your performance and your ability to execute are tied to them, all right? Are totally tied to them. These skills are not optional anymore. They're what set our students apart in interviews and on the job. So that in a stack of 100 applicants, our graduates rise to the top. The people with these skills rise to the top. You don't need a CS degree, right? It's too much theory anyways. but you need to train like someone whose job depends on it because soon it will, right? Awesome sauce. So let me give you an example of this. Let me give you another example. So imagine two people trying to get fit, okay? One person buys a gym membership, watches a bunch of YouTube videos. They show up, they try some machines, maybe they follow a plan, but it's guesswork. No real feedback, no progress tracking, no pressure to like really improve. The other hires a personal trainer. They get a plan, they get coaching, they get form checks and real time correction. And every week they get stronger. In 6 weeks, the difference is obvious. The first person who went to the gym, okay, and the second person became an athlete. That's what these skill shifts are all about. Because today, companies don't just want people that know how to use tech. They want people who can think like engineers, collaborate with AI, and ship real projects fast. Just like the person working with a trainer. If you want to grow and get hired fast, you want to train like a pro, build real muscle, and walk into interviews as the strongest candidate in the room with a learning plan that builds the exact skills that companies are hiring for right now. Okay. So what do today's companies actually want? So let's zoom out for a second. Okay, because you've just seen the three core skill shifts that separate top candidates from the ones that are still getting ghosted. Systems thinking, not just code memorization. AI collaboration, not AI dependence. And real world execution, not just tutorials and certificates. These are not nice to haves. They're the new baseline. Because what companies are really hiring for is this. Can you solve real problems in real time with real tools? The actual tools that developers use. And if you can, you're going to stand out. And if you can't, you're going to blend in. Here's the truth that most boot camps won't tell you. You don't get these skills by watching more videos, right? You get them by training differently. And in a moment, I'm going to show you exactly how we help our students build these skills, even if you're starting from scratch. All right. Now, I do have a quick question for you folks. Has anyone ever tried before? Has anyone tried before? And I would love to know, I'm going to give you a quick poll. I would love to know where you guys are at because I'd like to tailor the rest of our talk together tonight based on where you are. So can anyone tell me, is anyone a true beginner? Maybe you've, done some HTML and CSS coding. Maybe you've done some JavaScript, Python, or C. Maybe you've even done a boot camp or a tech degree already, or even worked as a developer. I know I was getting emails from people that had experience as actual software developers. All right. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Excellent. Excellent. Awesome. Welcome, Omar, true beginner. So, so good. Excellent. Thank you so much, guys. So if you've tried before to learn to code or to get a tech job and it didn't work, I want you to hear me very clearly. You're not the problem. Maybe you joined a boot camp that overpromised and underdelivered. Maybe like me, you did 3 computer science degrees, totally unnecessarily. Maybe you bought a course that left you more confused than when you started. Or maybe you gave it your all and you just still walked away feeling like you weren't cut out for this, right? That kind of experience leaves a scar. It makes you question yourself and it makes the next opportunity feel a bit risky, even if it's the one that might actually work. All right, that might actually work. So if you're sitting here tonight thinking, what if this is just another thing that's not going to work with me? That's not doubt, right? But there is wisdom there. But I also want to offer this. What if this time the structure was different? What if this time you're not doing it alone? What if this time it's not about learning more, but learning smarter? Because the truth is, when you've been burned by another training program before, what you really need isn't another course. You need a system that actually works and a team that's going to walk with you. And so that's going to show you tonight. Because the feedback I get from students who are in our program, that are following the guidance that I've just shared with you tonight so far, they talk about how different what we teach is. Because I felt very early on that I was teaching as a professor in the age of Google and YouTube, I knew that the information I was sharing was not the critical thing. Like anyone can go on the internet and look up a tutorial. My students didn't need that from me. So instead, I focused, what can I teach students that will serve them not only today in building awesome software, but in 10 years, 20 years, 50 years. So I focus on the essential timeless skills that every professional software developer has. And it's totally flipped and shifted how we teach. Yes, we do learn languages, but the point is more importantly, we learn how to think, how to solve problems, where tech is your superpower, right? Like the students that come through my program, they're not intimidated by tech because they know that they can just figure it out. Whether AI is there or Google is there, even when AI and Google fail, to me, that's the test of a true developer, a true technical master. Can you function without those things? Yes, you use them when you can, but if you can only code with AI and Google, what happens when that stops working or the gig changes? You're out, you're laid off. But our students actually learn how to solve any kind of tech problem because the essential elements we're teaching are timeless problem solving. That doesn't matter what the tech looks like. I'm sure you can tell I'm pretty passionate about this. I could go on all night, but I won't. I'll keep going. I'm very, very, very passionate about this subject and what we teach and why we teach it. Okay. Because my goal for you is for you to become a developer that AI can't replace. If you want to future-proof your career, this is where you want to start. Becoming the developer who can architect systems, collaborate with AI, and deploy real apps. That's the irreplaceable developer. And that's exactly who you're becoming by showing up here today, right? So inside the TechJoy Career Academy, we teach our students to think like a coder, ship projects with AI, build portfolio assets that land job offers. This blueprint isn't just theory. It's the exact roadmap our students use to land six-figure roles, even after years of rejection and self-doubt. Would you guys like to see that? Would it be cool if I share that with you tonight? Who's in? Who's in? Thumbs up. Awesome sauce, Braulio. So good. So good. Excellent, Omar. Excellent, George. Super excited. Awesome. The TechJoy Career Academy. All right. So let me officially introduce you to the place where career change actually clicks, the TechJoy Career Academy. This is more than a training program. This is a transition system built specifically for people who want more than just code on a screen. At TechJoy, we help you become the kind of developer companies can't ignore. Someone who can actually think like a coder, build real deployable projects, and step into interviews with actual confidence, not just credentials. But we don't stop at skills. We support the whole person, mindset, mentorship, and a mission. Because the goal isn't just a job, it's a life that actually feels like yours. Whether you've been overlooked, underpaid, or just stuck in a career that no longer fits, TechJoy is where this pivot happens. And I can't wait to show you what's possible when the right support meets your next brave step. Oh my goodness, so good. So what makes our program so unique, right? Just think about it for a second. Before school was ever invented, how did people learn? Not through tests, not through textbooks or YouTube videos. They learned by apprenticing, watching masters work, practicing right alongside them. And if you think about it, this is still how humans learn best, especially for advanced areas that change quickly, like technology, right? So here's the question. How do you learn something like tech when the rules are changing every week and the tools are being invented as you go, right? So the answer is that you learn by doing from those who are already doing it really well, right? Colleges and boot camps, they're super artificial. Most are still stuck in lecture mode. They're built for a world that doesn't exist anymore. At TechJoy, we flipped it. We gave you on-the-job style training before your first job offer. So you don't just feel ready, you are, because you've been doing it, right? That means no more getting stuck at entry level. You skip the unpaid internship stage and start positioning yourself for six figures from day one after you graduate, because we give you that internship already, right? Exactly. It's a mentoring relationship and it's a training internship that's designed to serve your learning and help you grow in a way that an actual internship in industry can never compare, because it's never in the company's interest to actually train you. You get to walk in the door and then beg for some training, to get started from people who are getting paid to do the work already, and their time is so expensive. So it's totally a flipped model of training education, where you get to skip entry level and jump straight to the six-figure opportunities, because we give you on-the-job style training before your first offer, so you can walk into those interviews super confident. So I want to take a moment and talk about something that comes up in almost every tech interview, and that's, tell me about your production experience. Here's the trap that a lot of people fall into. They think they have it because they've built a few projects, followed some tutorials, maybe even launched a portfolio website. But that's not what employers mean by production. Real production looks like this: working on real, actual tickets, not made up ones, right? So collaborating with a team, using Git workflows, right? Submitting code for actual review, right? Doing pull requests, running automated tests before deployment, shipping live code to live users where things can break, right? You're using the command line, you're not just dragging and dropping tools. So if you haven't been working in an environment like this, like in seen screens like this, and if you haven't done it recently within the last 6 months, you don't have the production experience that employers are looking for. And in fact, we've had multiple students who are on the job market trying the interviews, and they just couldn't even get their foot in the door because they didn't have this one key thing on their resume. All right. Here's the kicker. Most companies won't even consider hiring without it. Even FANG companies, where they're known for a long onboarding process, they're going to take 6 to 12 months before a new hire touches production code. Why? Because production work carries risk. It has real consequences, real stakes. And most companies don't have time to train someone up from scratch. So that's why experience in production before you're hired, it gives you such an edge. It becomes like the topic of your interview, and it shifts you from student to peer. And if you don't have it yet, don't worry, right? This is something that I'm going to show you how we help our students get real recent experience before their first offer, so they skip straight to six figures. All right, so let's go look at that for a second. Awesome. Cool. So let me share with you the TechJoy Career Academy process. Okay, let's break it down. How do we actually go from stuck and invisible to six-figure ready and in demand? So inside the TechJoy Career Academy, we do it in 3 powerful strategic phases. So the first phase, phase 1, this is where you learn to think like a coder. You master problem solving, you pass your technical interviews, and you stop just writing code, you start understanding it, right? Reading as well as writing are key elements of this phase. We don't just teach you tech, we teach you how to build with confidence using real tools on real projects. Next is phase 2. This is the internship. Now you get to put those skills to work. You'll complete our flagship full stack internship or one of our pilot paths in low code, QA, AI, or DevOps. You'll collaborate on team tickets, push production code, go through code reviews, right? Just like they do in industry, and work exactly the way real devs work in the field. This is the experience gap killer. All right. And then finally, in phase 3, the job hunt, now it's time to start earning. You can start applying as a junior dev with real production experience on your resume. So when you go to apply for jobs, you're not just an intern, you've been a junior dev. And yes, we serve as a reference. I've done security clearances. Like we're supporting you 110%, right? We guide you through every part of the job hunt with our proven strategy: resume, portfolio, interviews, networking. This is where our students start landing six-figure offers. You're not just ready, you're already working like a developer before you even walk into the interview. And that changes everything. And in addition, you can even start earning on the side as a remote tech worker while you're applying for jobs. So you don't have to wait for a salary position to start cashing in and earning on the skills you already have. So, what really sets the TechJoy Career Academy apart here? First of all, it's flexible. You learn, we meet you where you are. You can learn from anywhere on your schedule. No need to quit your day job or rearrange your life, right? We offer very effective training where we don't just teach coding, we train you to build like a developer. So everything is super hands-on, project-based, and led by senior engineers who've done this work in the real world. And we start teaching you that process of how professional developers work from day one. We also offer guaranteed experience for your resume. So unlike other programs that promise that you'll be ready, we actually guarantee it, right? Our training internship puts real production experience on your resume before you even apply. It's been a total game changer for our students, especially those that have been through going through other programs, hearing crickets on the job market, and they come to us and get hired. It's low time commitment. You don't need 40 hours a week. You need 2 focused hours a day. That's it. And yeah, that's enough, right? 10 hours a week, 10 to 15 hours a week. You're always supported. Our community is live and active 24/7. In fact, some of them are here. They can tell you. Like, people are on all the time. You're never left alone to figure things out, right? Because momentum doesn't wait for business hours. And I want to be clear, our support is designed to not give you the answer, but to help you uncover the answer for yourself. This is a huge difference between just Googling or going to ChatGPT, where it's going to tell you the answer. What we're going to do is we're going to try, and all of our staff members and community are trained on this. We're going to try and not tell you the answer, but give you a breadcrumb that helps you see the answer for yourself. And the first time, we might have to get real close to the solution before you see it. That's okay, because the next time you ask a question, we're not going to get as close, and you're going to figure it out faster and faster and faster until you're solving problems on your own. This is where we're supporting you to not just give you the answer. We're not just giving you the fish. We're teaching you how to fish for yourself for the long term. And this is a really unique angle that you can really only get from humans, because only humans can actually follow the rules of not giving you the answer. AI will give you the answer. And we also have real-time help. We have US-based live Zooms available from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. every single day. So when you hit a wall, you don't get stuck, you get answers, right? This isn't just another course, right? This is a complete support system built to help you succeed without burnout, confusion, or isolation, right? Thank you, Glenn. Glenn's in the program and he thinks it's outstanding. Love it. Thank you. I did not prompt him to say that, by the way. Like, he just came because he was interested. Okay. Anyways, we have the best community. Our students are the best. Let me tell you about some of them. So one of our students, Adi, he had a degree in tech. He knew his stuff, but no matter how well he explained it, the interviews just weren't coming, right? Why? Because knowing how to code alone isn't enough. What he didn't have was real production experience. And after months of trying, even Adi started to wonder, maybe coding isn't for me. He started applying for HR jobs, right? Like, he was like, maybe this isn't it. I don't know if anyone else ever felt like that, right? When you work just like so hard, but the doors just are not opening, and then the self-doubt starts to creep in, right? This is where the TechJoy Career Academy makes all the difference, right? Adi joined the internship. He got hands-on production experience, and he landed a $70K fully remote offer. And in fact, he was just one of 4 Academy interns who interviewed, and he was the one who got the job. So that's the power of a clear path and a community that actually has your back. All right. Now, let me show you what makes our approach so different from anything else that's out there. All right. Because at the TechJoy Career Academy, we help you learn faster. Notice, we're not giving you the answer here. We're actually teaching you how to think faster than the average bear. One of the biggest myths out there, that it takes years to become hireable in tech. Not so. It takes years to be an expert, sure, but not years to become hireable. At TechJoy, we collapse that timeline. Why? Because we don't teach theory in isolation. We teach through real world applications from day one. You'll learn directly from senior software engineers who've worked in companies that you actually recognize, not generic course creators, right? And you'll be deploying real code in real production environments, earning guaranteed resume experience, and getting on-demand support from US-based mentors who actually know your name, right? In fact, we have it structured so that the Zooms that you're visiting, that person is actually in charge of giving you feedback and shepherding you to the next phase. Right, we really work with our community and our staff members to make sure that you're moving forward, and we reach out if you're not, right? Like, yeah, we care about your success, right? You're not going to be left to figure this out on your own. In fact, one of our students said having a TechJoy mentor was like finally getting to sit next to the senior engineer everyone always talks about. I asked questions, I got unstuck fast, and I never felt behind again. That's the difference when you train with a team who's done it before and who's committed to helping you do it too. In fact, some of our students have described our mentors as rock stars, right? They're all rock stars. It's amazing the wonderful people that come into the program and have shared with me. It's pure amazement. It's such an honor to be here. Like, I just have to say, just like, we're good people. So if you're kind and you like to contribute and be part of community, you belong here. You belong here. Let me share another story. So I love this story because this student is full circle because he's now come on the other side as a coach for us. So Nick had been laid off for months. He had leadership experience, he'd managed teams, but every time he applied for software engineering roles, he heard the same thing: you're overqualified. Too much experience for junior roles, which he actually wanted. He wanted to shift and be a developer, not a manager. Not enough recent experience to jump into the senior roles. So he was stuck in this weird middle zone, right? Too much experience, but not where he needed it. And it was costing him time, income, and confidence. And that's when he joined our customized internship. And he worked on a cutting edge AI project built for a real world application. So fast forward a few months to November 2024, Nick landed his dream job as an AI software engineer earning over 150K. He didn't change careers. He asked me not to share the exact number. I might have it on the slide. I'll have to skip it. But he didn't change careers. He changed how he showed up in the market with real, recent, relevant experience. And it made all the difference. And now I am so excited, right, to go full circle, and that Nick is now on the other side helping train our developers, learning what he's applying every day in his day job as an AI software developer, and helping get back and teach our students. This is not something you can learn from anyone, right? How many AI software developers are out there? We actually have 2 on staff, right? Our other AI software developer has spent 20 years in industry building production level machine learning and AI systems, right? So when you come inside the TechJoy Career Academy, you get to learn from the professionals who are doing it every day. And that's by design, because some of this expertise in tech, it's just emerging now. It's changing every day. And the people that know how it's changing and how to use it, they're doing it. They're practicing it every single day. They're not locked in colleges and universities. They're doing it. They're practitioners. And so that's how we've set up the whole structure of this program, is to help you. Like, it's to train you, give you those foundations so you can actually learn from the professionals how to do what they're doing. So it's an incredible knowledge transfer. And Nick, yeah, he got an over 150K offer. He top earner, pretty awesome. Now, some of you might be wondering, how long is it going to take me, right? This is probably one of the most common questions that we get. How long will this realistically take me? The honest answer depends on 2 things: your coding background, right? If you're a beginner or you've been coding for a while, and your weekly commitment, right? How many hours a week do you really have? Do you have just the minimum 10 hours, or do you have 15 to 20? But the good news is we've worked with students at every level and we've seen what actually works. Our program is skills based, not time based. So, kind of like performance jobs at work. And you can progress as quickly or slowly as makes sense for you. So this isn't about rushing. It's about choosing the pace that fits your life and still get you results. And no matter where you start, you're not going to be doing it alone. All right. Excellent. I've got another student I want to share with you. This one's fun because this student got a 6-figure offer after the first month of training. Mike had solid IT experience, but after months of applying, he wasn't getting any bites. He didn't have any prior coding experience. He wasn't even sure that this path would work for him. But after just 1 month of TechJoy Career Academy training, something clicked. He learned how to think like a coder. And when he showed up in that next interview, It wasn't about the buzzwords. It was about checking the boxes for them, right? It wa- it wasn't it was how he thought, right? He broke down problems, he communicated like someone who belonged on the team, impressing his interviewer. Mike became the top pick out of 15 candidates and landed a 114K IT contract. That's the power of learning to think like a developer, right? And not just learning to code. And yes, that shift can happen faster than most people believe. Sometimes your breakthrough starts even before you finish mod one, right? That's how powerful and consolidated what we're teaching is, right? Excellent, excellent, excellent. So at TechJoy, this is what the path to your six-figure tech career can look like. First, you learn to think like a developer. You get the real problem-solving mindset that top tech companies actually hire for and start using AI plus those coding skills as your competitive edge in weeks rather than years. You build real world experience with our virtual internship. So you train with us inside a part-time remote first internship so you can sharpen your skills, build real projects, and show employers what you're actually capable of on your schedule. Legit, there's like one team meeting a week that we hope you can make, and we pick an internship project that team meeting fits in your schedule, right? Then you start earning as a remote tech contractor, right? So once you're ready, you can step into paid part-time tech roles with our support. Some of our students even start getting compensated within the academy working on our software projects, right? So like the pathway doesn't have to be all or nothing, right? You get to keep growing and start earning even before you land a full-time role. And then finally, right, salary and benefits, that's what we're looking for. You get to land a full-time role with our proven job hunt system. Use our repeatable recruiter-backed strategy to secure a six-figure job with salary and benefits without months of dead-end applications or ghost interviews, because you have the experience to back up and show and demonstrate what you really know. I have another student I'd love to share. It's such a good story. So Danielle was absolutely miserable as a teacher. So she made a super brave move. She quit her day job, joined a coding boot camp, and threw herself fully into her new career. But when it ended, no interviews, no callbacks, not even a nibble on the interviews. She could have walked away and said, maybe coding isn't for me. And honestly, most people might have. But Danielle, she did something powerful. She still believed in herself. She knew she didn't just need more tutorials. She needed real hands-on experience. So she joined the Academy internship. And once she had those production projects on her resume, recruiters started reaching out. She landed interviews and eventually got the offer that changed everything. A role making 20K more than she ever did as a teacher, right? And a job that she actually wanted, where her skills and talents were valued. And if you're wondering whether it's worth trying again after something didn't work out, let me ask you this. After a bad breakup, do we swear off love forever? Or do we learn what we needed and move forward wiser and stronger? Danielle chose to keep going, and that's why she won. The only people who don't succeed, right, don't keep going. I've never seen anyone fail that kept going. So who is our program for, right? Who is the TechJoy Career Academy for? We're building tech that will shape the future. So we're looking for talented students who are invested not only in their success, but also the success of others. Because our focus is on how do we use tech in our society? Who is it serving? And I want to make sure that if you're interested in making an impact and having a mark on tech, that you have access to the skills that will allow you to do so. We look for students who are responsible and professional, that complete tasks in a timely manner, that clearly communicate with the team when they're stuck or when they can't complete a task on time. And remember, these are not technical things. These are, right, these are non-technical things. We just expect you to speak up and reach out. We don't necessarily expect you to be able to communicate clearly right out of the gate, because this might be new for you. You might never have had a job before, right? And we provide that training too. We train the whole student so that at the end, you're both professional, an ideal worker for a company, and you have amazing tech skills that get you hired, right? We're making sure that all of our graduates are job force ready and can be hired without question. We ask that our students are good task shepherds, that when they get stuck, they reach out and they make use of the available resources, whether that's AI or a Zoom or a peer. And our nice to have list, we really prefer kind humans. So if you're a kind human, we welcome you. Please join us. All right. Wait. Unkind humans tend not to be a good fit. We're not for everybody. We're not for everybody, but we're a community of givers and lifelong learners. And if that's you, come on in. You'll love it. So I want to invite you. I'd like to invite you to join the TechJoy Career Academy. You've seen what's possible. You've met the students. You've seen the real results, the interviews, the offers, the salaries. So here's what I want to say next. You don't have to take my word for it. You are a fully capable adult. I trust you to make your own decisions. And that's why we built this with you in mind, a brand new education as a service model. So you can begin today for just $97. You'll get full access for 30 days to try it out. No pressure, no pitch. And if you choose to continue, it's as little as $288 a month, less than $300 a month for a 6-figure career. Not bad, huh? If have non-coding tech experience, you could add 15K or more to your salary in as little as a month. I've seen that number as high as 50K in a month if you have some kind of non-coding tech experience on your resume. If you're just starting out, you're looking at probably more like 12 to 18 months before you're hired, including the training, with full support every step of the way. So you can enroll now. I want to give you the link. Let's see if I can copy and paste. We'll give this a shot. Let's see how my copy paste works. I don't know. Maybe I should put it up here. Okay, there we go. There's the link. It's on the screen. Let me see if I can get it in the Zoom. We'll give it a shot. Let's see if that worked. Let me know, guys, if you can click on that, if that works for me. Appreciate it. So you can join us now at techjoysoftware.com/trial. And our next cohort kickoff is on Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Now, is it cool with you guys? Can I offer you guys a gift before we wrap up? What if you don't get a job offer? Oh, I said it. What if you go through all this, you don't get a job offer? That would be what everyone's afraid of, right? Who is that a concern for anybody? Wouldn't it be incredible? Wouldn't it be incredible if you could get your money back? So stay with me now. I'm going to tell you about that. What if there was no risk? So at the TechJoy Career Academy, we put our money where our mouth is with a money back guarantee. Let's be real. Investing in yourself can feel risky, right? What if you try again and it still doesn't work? What if you do the work and you don't get hired? We know that's not going to be the case. We've helped so many people overcome those fears. Here's how. If you don't get a job within 6 months of graduating, we pick up the tab. It's on us. That's not just marketing. This is our actual written money back guarantee because we're not in the business of selling you a course. We're in the business of helping you get hired. And if we can't do that, we believe you shouldn't have to pay. So yes, you can try this with confidence because we're not asking you to take all the risk. We're sharing it with you. All right, we're sharing it with you. And again, I'm going to see if I can put that link right in the chat for you guys. $97 gives you 30 days access. Come in, try it out, kick the tires. You don't have to take my word for it. You don't have to take my word for it. All right, excellent. So I want to share just a couple more student wins that I want to highlight them because they're so good. So Doris came to us with no coding experience and more than enough reasons to wait. She was a single mom, juggling everything on her own, but she knew that she needed something different, something better, right? So she took a brave step. She joined the TechJoy Career Academy using our payment plan and committed to showing up every day. 7 months later, she landed a $150K tech job. Not because she had extra time, not because she had a background in tech, but because she followed the plan, got real support, and never stopped believing what was possible. Her story's not that rare here. It's what happens when you combine the right structure with someone who's ready to rise into that role that they've been dreaming about. All right, that can be you. that can be you. So I'm just curious. I'm curious. Who here is ready to start learning and earning this year? 2025, maybe early 2026, because we're halfway through the year. Who's ready? Who's ready to start earning and learning? Just out of curiosity. Nobody. Good. George is awesome. At the Tech Joy Career Academy, we don't just teach people how to code. We train leaders who go out and transform the world of software for good. So I want to tell you one final student story about Ida. She's one of my favorite students. So how many of you agree that it might be harder to learn how to code if you were blind? Does anyone think it might be harder to learn how to program if you were blind? Like seriously, imagine trying to read a screen, but you can only see this much of it at a time, right? Most people would say, coding's not for me. Not Ida. Not only did she learn smarter, not harder with our approach, she became a six-figure software developer at Chase Manhattan Bank. And the best part, today she's building accessible banking software so that people who are totally blind can manage their money independently. That's impact. That's power. And if Ida can do that, right? I want you to feel what's possible for you. Because if coding success isn't about being perfect or having the right background, then what do you need to be successful? Each of us has inside of us a unique gift that we bring to the world. And the world of software is no different. So just because it was difficult for Ida to learn to code didn't mean she shouldn't go into it. It just meant that it was going to take her a little bit longer to get where she was going. But her contribution was still absolutely essential and valuable because she made software more accessible, right? As a coder, am I going to go make software more accessible for blind people? Not necessarily. That's not my background. It's not something that's familiar to me. But Ida took what most of us would see as a huge disadvantage, being partially sighted, partially blind. And she made it a gift to those who had less sight than her, who were totally blind, right? So there's something that you have to give in the world of software, right? There's a unique perspective that you have that can be shared. And so that's what we're about at the Tech Joy Career Academy, is helping you find your voice in tech so you can contribute, so you can make incredible software and get paid handsomely for it. All right. And get paid so you can have the quality of life that you've been looking for, right? All problems are solvable. Whatever it is that's been holding you back, you absolutely can do this because it's about transformation, not just information. So I have one final question for you folks. One final question. Before we wrap, I want to bring it back to you. You've seen what's possible. You've heard the stories. You've felt the shift. So let me ask you again, maybe more clearly this time. What are you really looking for in 2025? A job, a raise, a fresh start, or the moment that you finally stop questioning whether you're good enough and start showing the world that you are? Whatever your answer is, I want you to know this. You don't have to figure it out alone. You don't have to waste time guessing or grinding. You just need the right path and the right people beside you. And that's exactly what we've built inside the Tech Joy Career Academy. So if you're ready to start learning, earning, and leading with purpose in 2025, we're ready for you. All right, we're ready. Wherever it is that you want to go. So good. So good. So I want to leave you with the link one last time. And if you have questions, please pop them in the chat. Oh, there we go. Hold on. I didn't like how that pasted in the chat. Let me try it again. There we go. If you've been waiting for a sign, this is it. You are officially invited to the Tech Joy Career Academy. You can start today for just $97. You'll get a full 30-day trial to test it out. And if it's a fit, continue for as little as $288 a month. And yes, we've got a money-back job guarantee. That means if you do the work and don't get a job within 6 months of graduating, it's on us. The next cohort kicks off on Tuesday, June 17th at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. We're already getting questions, so the spots fill fast. So if you're interested, don't wait. If you're ready to learn, grow, and earn in 2025, join us tonight at techjoysoftware.com/trial. Let this be the year you stop wondering if it's possible and start proving that it is. All right, folks. So, so good. I'm going to leave this up for a minute, but I see there are some questions. And I just want to, take a moment to thank you for showing up tonight, for you and for your future. And yet, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to put them in the chat. And you can also email or text us. Yes, there is a real human on the other side of it. All right. So, so good. So, so good. Thank you. Again, I'm Dr. Emily. And if you have any questions, please stay on. I'm happy to answer them and I'll stay as long as needed. All right. Super awesome. Super, super awesome. Excellent. All right, folks. So, so good. Let's get at some of those questions. So Cliff asked, what languages are taught? So the way we teach is we teach the foundation elements in Python, and then you would go into a different language for your internship, most likely, because internship projects are real world projects. Almost none of them is exclusively Python. Typically, most students go into our full stack internship, which would be JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. We teach a little bit differently because we are looking to help teach you how to learn and pick up tech. And so we really ground the fundamentals in the Python phase. And then the JavaScript phase, right? We're working alongside you, showing you how professional developers would pick up a new language, right? So it's a very hands-on process, and it's also very project focused where we're learning by doing. It's kind of like unraveling layers of an onion. It's super fun. Awesome. Exactly, Glenn. So Glenn, I didn't plant Glenn. I didn't plant it, but Glenn said, while you may start in Python, you should be able to learn any language. That's exactly how we teach you. And that's why it's so critically important that on the internship, we do use a different language, because the learning transfer that happens when a student shifts languages, it just all comes together. It's kind of like when you learn a second language, you start to understand your first language better. Like if you've learned French or German or Italian or Japanese, like in school, it helps you understand English a little bit differently because now you're learning this other language. The same is true for coding. Great question. Great question. Chris is currently in a boot camp but feeling really stuck with learning. Shouldn't I at least finish that boot camp? Great question, Chris. So if you're already in a boot camp, we've actually had students join us because for two reasons. One, sometimes you learn better from a different perspective. I know I'm that way. When I want to learn something, I don't need just one book or course. I probably need two because I need to see it from different perspectives, and that helps me learn better. The other reason is because our Q&A support is not limited to our curriculum. So when you come into the to the Tech Joy Career Academy, you get access to all of our Q&A support, and you can bring whatever problems you're facing. Now, that being said, we're going to be able to more quickly help you with questions from our curriculum because we have experience with that, but we don't restrict it. And it really excites the students because now they get to answer different questions than they've seen before. So we are providing education as a service where you can bring the questions. It's how we're all structured and set up, because if you think about it, when a student is on the internship, they're the only person that's the expert on their ticket, right? On what they've been asked to do. No one has ever solved that problem before in the history of the world, and they're still learning and trying to do it. So our support structure is designed for everyone to bring their own problems. Like everyone brings unique problems. It's a totally different way of teaching. It's something that you could never do in a college. I tried, I pushed it as far as it could go as a professor. But it's a really cool learning environment. And so if you are in a boot camp and you're struggling, that would be the main advantage that I would say, is that you would actually get access to support that can help you answer even your current boot camp problems, right? Super, super, super awesome. Excellent, Omar. So Omar is concerned about showing up. A valid concern, Omar. What is the weekly requirement? So our recommendation is 10 hours a week, and that's really 2 hours a day. I know some people are weekend warriors and go all in on the weekends. The reason we advise 2 hours a day is because we believe you should be able to make progress for about 2 hours before you get stuck somewhere. And that gives you time to post a question to our community, schedule a time to go to a Zoom call, and get the help that you need. And the 2 hours a day keeps it fresh every day. It is harder to learn a new language only doing it on the weekends. That being said, if there's a week where you're going on vacation and you can't do your 10 hours that week, no one, like, we support you and we are asking for your progress updates, but we've intentionally structured this flexibly so that you can actually, get the support that you need when you need it. And it's okay to take a vacation with your family for a week. Like, that's why we've created it this way. So the learning is at your own pace. All that we ask is that once you're on the internship, if you are assigned a task, for the team and you're going away, wrap it up or hand it off to somebody else before you go. That's all we ask, because there you might actually be holding up the team. When you're in the training phase, it's just your learning that's being delayed. We're going to reach out to you and ask questions because we want you to be successful, right? Like that's the whole point. That's why we're here. And so, if something's, not clicking for you, please know that we do help support our students on time management, right? Battling imposter syndrome, our inner saboteurs, confidence. Like, we are supporting the whole student. So we do find that when we're trying to level up as software developers, it's amazing how much our own internal resistance can come up in the form of life events. It is very, very common for students to have a life event, just something comes up, becomes a barrier. So we also help address that as well. We have ideas, and as a community, we learn to think about those barriers that come up as, not unstoppable blockers, but things that are surmountable obstacles. Super awesome. Super, super awesome. So Victor was asking if age is a factor, right? So I haven't personally seen ageism in the industry. I have heard stories of it, but I haven't currently had any students that were at that point that decided that, age was the factor of whether or not they were getting hired or whether or not they were pursuing a position in industry. My oldest student who got on the job market was 79. She ultimately decided her daughter had her first grandbaby, and she decided, you know what? I don't think I want to do this anymore. I'm going to go be grandma. So I don't have like data on it because my best candidate chose to withdraw from the job market. That was her choice. So I don't have a lot of data. I haven't seen it. What I can tell you is there are some companies that actually don't want super fresh young hires. They want more mature talent because they want fully functioning adults that know how to communicate clearly, set expectations, set boundaries, and are good team members. So it's really about finding the right fit, is what I would say. Excellent question. Excellent question. Awesome, Braulio. I will text you. I will text you. I think we've been texting back and forth. I had a couple questions for you. All right. Excellent. Excellent. Shelton, if you select to do a certain 2-hour frame, do you have to keep that same 2-hour frame? Oh my goodness, such a good question. Let me try and be clear about the structure. So we've tried intentionally to put in a lot of flexibility in the time requirement. So there are certain hourly chunks throughout the week that we recommend you attend for each phase in the program. Every phase has a home base Zoom session. There's going to be 1 or 2 of those a week, depending on where you are in the program. And so trying to get to one or both of those would be high on the priority list, but it's not a requirement, right, either. So for instance, for the beginning phase, Python parties, Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern, and I believe it's Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern. Coming to one of those a week, making sure that you've set aside time. So if you're getting stuck, you can go there. It's where the cohort comes together, the community, right? We talk about wins, we move things forward. So that would be it for Python of like requirements. And then where you do your work is whatever 2 hours work for you. And we have our community, people are on all the time. They volunteer to hang out and just be available. And that's a little more ad hoc, but there's a lot of support. People are working around the clock. And so I think you'll find that no matter when you show up to do your working, like it will, there'll be others working too. In fact, we have a student who took it upon themselves to organize a study hall session where they just show up on Zoom and everybody just hangs out and works, right? Like it's a really supportive community. And so you can pick whatever hours you want. We really recommend picking your 10 hours, right? And sticking to it. We also have sessions that are focused on your performance, on your mindset, on leadership, right? So we have other sessions that will also throughout the week that'll really help you level up as a professional as well. Yep. Super, super good. Teresa, if someone started the trial but couldn't stay for more than 2 months, for example, is there a time restriction that won't allow people back in the group, like 6 months or later? Do you have to stay out of the group for a specific number of months before you get back in? Great question, Teresa. So typically, with the job offer guarantee, that comes with a contract commitment to sticking it out until you get that job offer. That being said, right, like life happens, and so we would want to talk about that on a case by case basis, right? So I would say that might be a specific question that we could dive into, but the intention is that at the end of the 30-day trial, you're choosing to, sign our contract and move forward. It opens you up for the job offer guarantee, right? It lays out exactly like what you're getting, all the things. But the idea is that the 30 days is really a trial run where you can come on in and experience the community for yourself, because I think sometimes it's hard to talk about something and it's a little bit easier just to experience it. Super, super great. Shelton, I see a question mark and an exclamation point. So if you have any follow-up questions, please don't hesitate. Um, excellent, excellent. Um, no worries, Victor. We take all comers. I think the average age in our program is probably middle-aged, if I had to guess. We appeal. We have students that are in college. I think there's even a student who might be like finishing up high school, all the way up. I think our oldest student was approaching 80. Like whole range, whole range. I think the most important factor is that the people who really resonate with us, who really thrive in the program, enjoy being part of a community. They enjoy committing to being the best version of themselves, becoming the best coder. They're a kind human that likes to give back, right? Because that's actually something that's really important in our learning in our academy, is that we know that sometimes the best person to learn from is the expert, but sometimes it's the future version of you. Well, gosh darn it, I don't have the future version of me, but what I do have is someone just like me who just learned it. That would be a peer. Not only does it help the student who's learning, it helps the peer, that the slightly more experienced peer, it helps them prepare for their tech interviews. It helps them learn how to speak professionally on these topics. It helps them practice their vocabulary. And so we really encourage and incentivize this idea of peer mentorship. And we have a number of students that just love, supporting the community in that way. And it really enriches everything for everybody. So it's a supportive, I don't know if I could say it enough. It's a supportive learning community. Like I've heard nightmare stories about like, oh, the course was supported by a Facebook group, but it would take 3 days to get an answer and it was wrong anyways. Yeah, no. This is like we're all in it together. Like the staff, the students, like, yeah, no. That's one of the main reasons why I want you guys to come in and see, because you can't really get that sense of it without coming inside and just seeing for yourself just how active it is and supportive. Super, super awesome. Victor, should I read any outside materials besides what I get with the program? Ooh, such a good question. In the beginning phases, the training is self-contained. There are moments where we suggest that you do some research outside, but for the most part, the very beginning phase is like a scavenger hunt. As you advance, though, we want to help you learn how to continue learning when you graduate. And so slowly, we're going to introduce learning materials that you might find on the internet, right? And so you can start to learn how to learn from those materials versus just the ones that were crafted and curated by me. So we slowly take the training wheels off. So at some point, yes, you will read materials outside of what we provide, but that's going to be more advanced as you're entering onto the internship. Because once you're on the internship, I can't fully predict what you'll learn because we don't know where the projects will be. They're real projects with real clients, like with real questions. And so could be that you learn one thing and another intern learns a different one. But the idea is that we're learning, we're deepening our knowledge, and you have choice on exactly what you learn. So it's a pretty cool setup. Excellent. Excellent. Glenn, the Python parties are excellent and very interactive. Yes, they are. It's also a value to be exposed to the problems and solutions that are experienced by others. Exactly, Glenn. Right? So being a part of the community, coming to like once or twice a week Q&A sessions on Zoom, it helps keep you connected, and it also helps you see where you're going, even as you get frustrated with where you are right now. Sometimes. Or sometimes it's going smooth sailing, and that happens too. And that's a win that we celebrate. Sabrina, is there only one cohort per year, or does there more than one run simultaneously? Yes, it is. We run cohorts typically every month or so. And so as soon as someone comes in, though, everybody's pacing is different. Everyone has different prior experiences. So the cohorts are organized around phases. So like when you're in the beginning phase, the very first Python phase, you're in one cohort, right? For a pretty long time, actually. And then you shift. We have a practice technical interview that we give you unlimited tries and we coach you on how to succeed at that. But then that's a phase. And then we become, pre-interns, and that's a learning phase with a different, a different home base, a different Zoom session, a different leader, a different coach. And then we move to the internship, and then it changes again. But at each phase in the program, you are learning alongside of all the other people in the program that are at that pace. Some people could have joined last week. Some people could have joined 6 months ago because maybe life happened. Maybe they only had like 5 hours a week, so they're moving a little bit more slowly, right? It just depends. It just depends. Great question. Great question. Mauricio has been in tech for 18 years and was recently laid off. I'm sorry to hear that. Mainly work in data systems with both SQL and NoSQL, did development all along, but was like 30% of the job. I'm looking to pivot into 100% software engineering roles in today's job market. Awesome. You're in the right place. Is it feasible? Yes, it absolutely is. And what I can tell you, Mauricio, is that the students that get hired the fastest for the most money all have non-coding tech experience. And so they can get hired faster because the length and depth of experience on their resume is longer. They can get away with learning maybe as little as a month of our training and start nailing those interviews and getting paid over 100K. The majority of our six-figure offers, like well over six figures, most of them had some kind of technical experience, not necessarily coding, right? Because all of our jobs, very few of them had coding jobs before. But every person who's graduated and gotten an offer that had technical experience, like databases on their resume, was all over six figures. None of them have gotten less than six figures. Anyone who's just getting started, who's a beginner, we typically see those salaries at the 70 to 100K level for starters. Just to be clear, right? But the way over 100K offers, they always have technical experience with them already, but not coding. So good news, you're in good hands. You're in the right place. So good. Yes. So this program will really help with that goal. And I can assure you that our fastest students, my fastest student ever got hired in like 2 weeks. Like I've had students get hired in 1 to 3 months. I've had students take longer, right? The average is more like 8 to 9 months, right? And it also depends on like when you enter the program, when the spring job rush is hitting, right? Because most of our students are hired in the late spring to early fall. So it all kind of depends on how you're hitting the job market and things like that. But no, it sounds like you're really well placed for a great job. Yeah, so yes, I would agree with Glenn that you're already ahead of the curve. I think this is going to be a slam dunk for you from what I've seen from our other students. So, um, so Sheldon, what outside book or reading material did I start out with? I don't know if that's specific to me or the program, but we do sometimes bring in outside materials and recommend books, but typically everything is self-contained. They're always optional, right? We provide all the material that's required. We give guidance for any additional material. But we are looking to help you learn how to solve your own problems, right? How to solve your own problems over time. Super awesome. Oh my goodness, these were amazing, amazing questions. Super awesome. If you have any more, please pop them in the chat. But I do, want to make sure that you guys are aware that yes, there is a real human on the other side of those text messages and emails. It's often me. Sometimes that's why there's a delay because I'm running all the other things. But I really want to support you, get your questions answered. So please don't hesitate to email us or text us back. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. And really, the trial is designed so you can come in and just check it out, see if it's for you, right? Like it's not a hostage situation, right? And this is really revolutionary because we've really set it up to be education as a service for you, right? With the job offer guarantee, we need the 18-month commitment, but if you're not looking for a job offer guarantee, we do have other payment plan options available. But the best deal for sure is the 18-month commitment because you can finance that for $288 a month. It's almost a no-brainer. If you're getting a job offer making anywhere close to six figures at the end of 5 or 6 months, right? You're sitting pretty. And we even have internships available for earlier phases in the program. If you've come in and you're like, you know what, I can see it's going to take me this many months to become full stack and get hired. Let me take the faster path and do a low code internship, and I'll start applying for jobs there. So we are expanding. We have internships at multiple levels. So yeah, like we help you be employable as quickly as possible with as least training as possible. It's just the nature of the jobs changes depending on where you're exiting the program to do the job hunt. Awesome. So yes, Chris, the intention is with this trial, right? Because we've tried to make this trial a super good deal. Like $97 for 30 days, like of a multi-thousand-dollar boot camp program. Like that's pretty cool. And the idea is that before that 30 days is up, is that you would choose whether or not you want to continue, right? And so you would sign our contracts. You could read everything about the job offer guarantee, read about the internship and what we're guaranteeing to provide to you. And then you would enroll in that 18-month commitment. So that is the goal, Chris, is that in this 30 days, you're not only coming in and learning as much as you can, but you're also seeing, would you like to do the job offer guarantee? Would you like to continue with the program? We provide 18 months, even though it's a 6-month program. We find on average students take between 6 to 12 months to graduate. And we want to give you 6 months of our training support on the job hunt, right? To make sure that you are doing all the things that we know are going to lead to success for you getting that position. Super, super awesome. But yes, so that is the goal, Chris. That is absolutely the goal. Super awesome. You guys have been awesome tonight. Thank you so much for your incredible questions. It's been such an honor getting to know you and support you on your journey. And all I can say is please don't hesitate to reach out. We're really about helping people get their positions, learn how to code, and actually know what they're doing, right? Not just follow a tutorial or follow the leader, but actually knowing how to do this, where tech becomes your superpower, right? Like we're doing the same thing over and over again becomes boring because we're lifelong learners. So anyways, I could go on all day long. I love this stuff. So, so good. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you tonight. I wish you the best of luck in your career, and I hope I can see some of you live on Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern before Coach Katrina's Python party at 9 p.m. So super, super excited you got to introduce you guys to the community. All right. Have a great rest of your night. Take care.